whale addresses continue to skyrocket ever since ETF approval. So it's not just the ETFs, not just the institutions. There are a lot of whales that also know this is the time to be loading up. This is the time to be greedy, quite honestly. We've been conservative for so long, and now it's the time to be aggressive, to be less conservative, especially as we're approaching the halving event, right? So right now, if you look at the heat map in terms of who's accumulating, you're starting to see, it's a little hard to see here. You're starting to see on the very right side, a little bit blue from the retail investors. But you could see the major buying has been from the whales on top. Over 10,000 Bitcoin, 1 to 10,000 Bitcoin, 100 to 1,000 Bitcoin. They have been accumulating. In this case, blue is accumulation. And you can see retail actually has been selling. You can see that deep red. For whatever reason, retail were selling. Makes no sense at all. But now you can see on the very right side, it's starting to turn blue. So retail is finally understanding that, hey, we should be in Bitcoin, right? So you're starting to see all across the board accumulation from the smallest retail investors to the biggest Bitcoin whales on the planet. They're all starting to accumulate. It's the ECB, the European Central Bank, led by Christine Lagarde. Not sure why. Maybe the ECB feels a little bit, I don't know, discouraged about all their efforts trying to basically kill Bitcoin has not worked. So now they have to be on the offensive again. To quote them, Bitcoin has failed to become a global decentralized digital currency, instead falling victim to fraud and manipulation. How could they declare that already? Failed to become a global decentralized digital currency. Was there like a time frame? Did Bitcoin or Satoshi said, by 2024, Bitcoin will be the most dominant decentralized digital currency that will replace all fiat currency? I mean, was there a declaration from Bitcoin or Satoshi, or was there a timeline or time frame that I didn't know about? So I don't know how they could just declare that already. Victim to fraud and manipulation. Gold is not a victim to fraud and manipulation. What about silver? What about stocks? What about fiat? So it's kind of weird. The recent approval of an ETF doesn't change the fact that Bitcoin is costly, slow, and inconvenient. Again, the second part of this doesn't even make sense. Bitcoin can be costly, slow, and inconvenient, but that doesn't mean that it has failed to become a global decentralized digital currency. See, the two doesn't even relate to each other, right? That's like saying your ex was, it didn't work out with your ex because your ex didn't do this and this and this, and then you throw in, well, she's also a horrible cook. It's like you're just throwing shade now at this point, right? It doesn't make a lot of sense. And then, if you read through it, it gets worse. This is the conclusion. Bitcoin's price level is not an indicator of its sustainability. There are no economic fundamental data. Really? There's no data after 12 years more than that, 14 years of data showing that no asset class on the planet has outperformed it. I think there's some data. And the metrics that show the network getting stronger, the addresses getting higher, I mean, those are data. Okay, we have it. There's no fair value from which serious forecasts can be derived. Who says? What about BlackRock? Does BlackRock think there's no fair value and there's no economic fundamental data or sustainability? You're talking about the largest asset manager on the planet, and then you have Fidelity, which is another largest asset manager on the planet, and so many others. that all disagree with this conclusion. There is no proof of price in a speculative bubble. Okay, again, we're talking about a bubble here. We're not even at peak, and we're talking about bubbles already. Instead, reflation of speculative bubbles shows the effectiveness of the Bitcoin lobby. The market capitalization quantifies the overall social damage that will occur when the house of cards collapse. Social damage. Where did that come from? We're talking about maybe economic damage. Where's this social damage coming from? They're attacking from all over the place. It is important for authorities to be vigilant and protect society from money laundering, cyber, and other crimes, financial losses for financially less educated, and extensive environmental damage. This job has not been done yet. I think maybe this is right there. Extensive environmental damage. I think this is what's causing this. Maybe the the ESG movement or whoever's behind it, right? I don't know. They're causing Christine to write this, or ECB to get behind it because they want to make some deal or something like that. Money laundering, man, fiat has way more money laundering. I mean, banks get slapped on the wrist all the time for money laundering. So what are you talking about? There's been a lot more money laundering through traditional banks than there has ever been with Bitcoin. It's not even close. Cyber crimes, financial losses, there's been more of those with traditional fiat than Bitcoin too. So none of this makes any sense whatsoever. This is a blatant, if Bitcoin can sue for defamation, this will be it. Satoshi should come out of wherever he's hiding and sue the ECB, because none of these things are proven and they're just opinions. Okay? And again, when you have some of the largest companies on the planet that disagrees with this and is investing billions into this asset class, that tells you something, right? And some of the wealthiest billionaires on the planet are also telling you to go buy Bitcoin.